Hello, everyone. We thank you for joining us today for our weekly art-based meditation brought to you by the National Museum of Asian Art. I'm Demi Mohammed, the museum's public programs coordinator, and I'm thankful that you've chosen to take this time to spend with us. Today's meditation will be led by Phil as we focus on a beautiful photograph that will be shown in our new exhibition, A Splendid Land, Paintings from Royal Udaipur, which opens tomorrow. The photograph, titled The Palace in the Lake, helps transport us to Udaipur with a beautiful landscape in the background. I'm excited to transport there with you today. Again, we thank you for joining us, and I'll pass it to Phil to get us started.
Welcome, everyone. It's great to see you. I have a couple questions for you. Have you ever imagined what it might be like to see the world from someone else's perspective? Have you ever imagined what it might be to look at the same thing that you're looking at now, but with different eyes, from a different point of view, maybe a different frame of mind? As Demi said, my name is Phil Bender. I'm so glad to join you today and have another opportunity to lead you in a meditation on a work of art from the collection of the Smithsonian's National Museum of Asian Art. During our time together, we'll gather our attention, cultivate a kind of inner stillness, see how that experience might be magnified by the work itself, and then employ our imaginations a bit and interact with the work in an interesting way. For now, just know that we'll be looking at a photo of the palace in the lake, Jagnivas, in the city of Udaipur, the state of Rajasthan, India. The photo was taken in 1873 by Scottish photographer Colin Roderick Murray. It appears now, or it will appear tomorrow, at least open to the public, at the museum in the exhibit that Demi mentioned, A Splendid Land, Paintings from Royal Udaipur. Now, for the time being, let's prepare to relax, do a gentle breathing technique to connect to our mind's basic clarity, and emphasize that basic clarity with a visualization so that when we come to the photo itself, we might see it freshly and allow our bodily experiencing to also be present. If any aspect of the practice seems inaccessible, just relax and stay with your breath. All right, so let's approach our practice. Getting comfortable, we'll do some movement. Let's shrug the shoulders up toward the ears. So in a way, we're creating tension. And we might inhale here. And then exhale. Settle the shoulders. And do that again. Inhale. Shoulders approach the ears. Hold. And then let them go. We can do this with the breath and a sigh. So inhaling, finding a little tension in the shoulders. Exhaling, sighing. Good. Let's add more of the arms. So inhale, shoulders, arms lift. Exhale, sighing, letting all of that go. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more time. And as your arms come to rest, let the body's communication come to your conscious awareness. The body saying, yeah, this is a bit more relaxed now. Just a bit. Now, as you continue to prepare for the meditation, feel your seat weighty, solid, gravity pulling on you just a bit. And then we'll bring forward this interesting breathing technique. I invite you to tuck your fingers underneath your armpits so that your thumbs are exposed. If this isn't accessible, you can just keep your hands resting on your thighs and participate in the way I describe. Because what I'd like to do is to press one finger down into the chest. If you're working with the hands, you could create a little tension in the hand. But let's say we're pressing one thumb down. We inhale and then exhale, release that tension. Next inhalation, press the other thumb down, inhaling. Exhaling, relaxing. And then both. Inhale, pressing into the chest flesh. Exhaling, softening. So we've got a pattern. Back to the first thumb, inhaling, pressing down. Exhaling, relaxing that thumb. Other thumb creates the pressure. Inhale. Exhale, soften. And then both. Inhale. And exhale. Now, can you keep this pattern going on your own for a bit? Alternating thumbs. Taking time to feel the pressure on inhalation and the release on exhalation. If you find this confusing, don't worry about it. Try to steady your breath. Nice long inhalation and exhalation. Steadying the breath steadies the mind. Now do one more round, taking your time. When you finish that last exhalation, release your hands to your legs or to your lap. Feel free to make an adjustment to your seat as necessary, but then return to stillness. Now, if it's comfortable for you, close your eyes. And gently bring your attention to the center of your head. Your inner gaze about eye level, looking through the head, through the brain. And while you're there, gazing gently through the brain, can you imagine that you're gazing across the surface of a still lake? What would it be like to stand on the shore of a still lake and look across it? Allowing the surface experience of your mind to be just as tranquil and pristine. If a thought arises, that's okay. It's a momentary interruption to the basic stillness, like a ripple on the surface of the lake that in time will dissipate. Meanwhile, the body relaxes. The breath is free to do what it does best. Now, savoring this basic clarity of mind, relax. Just be here, available for what is to come into experience. Now, when you're ready, gently open the eyes. And as you gaze at the photo in front of you, see if some aspect of the photo might magnify the stillness of the lake of your mind. One technique used in meditation is to choose a single point. So you might choose a point somewhere, perhaps in the center of the photo. Rest your attention there while you relax your gaze. In this way, your peripheral vision is open, and the experience of the mind a bit more placid. Now let's take a little tour of this image. If you ever need to refresh the basic stillness, do so. But let's, of course, take a closer view of that majestic palace, the center of this lake. As you look at it, see what strikes your fancy, what comes forward in your experience. Move a little bit to the right. And down. Continue a little bit to the left. And then back up. Now, taking in this image again, settling the mind. Let's try a little experiment, engaging our imaginations in an endeavor to shift our perspective. So far, we've been looking at this scene from our perspective, noting our visceral reactions and thoughts that might have come forward. But now, can you imagine being in this scene, but from the perspective of a boatman? If you were one of the boatmen, what might this lake mean to you? How would this lake impact your day-to-day life? If you were a boatman gazing at those walls of the palace, what would those walls mean to you? You might make a note of that, mental note or an actual physical note. writing it down. Now let's extend this experiment a little bit more. And I invite you to imagine that you are a resident of the palace, a particular one, the daughter of the Maharana, the King of Kings. As the daughter of the Maharana, you stay here in the summers. This is the summer palace. What does the lake mean to you? How does the lake impact your day-to-day life? Now, as a resident of the palace, perhaps you could sense the walls around you and ask yourself, what do these walls mean to me? Note what comes forward for you. Now, before we enter the third and final phase of this experiment, let's try to reset the basic clarity of mind. Stillness of the lake of the mind meets the stillness of Lake Pichola in front of you. And then imagine that you are the resident of the palace, its patron, the person who chose the very site and ordered it to be built. Imagine you are the Maharana, the King of Kings, and this palace is your summer retreat. What does the lake mean to you? How does the lake impact your day-to-day life? And then sensing the palace around you. Consider, what do these walls mean to you, the Maharana, King of Kings? Now, as our experiment comes to a close, see if you might again rest your gaze on the photograph, perhaps picking a point, directing your attention there while allowing your gaze to be soft, your visual field open. And the still lake of your mind magnified by the stillness of this lake. Sometimes the waters are pretty choppy, and that's okay. That's part of life. Sometimes we're blessed with an image, a moment in time, a moment of quiet where we can settle into basic stillness, basic clarity, and allow something fresh to come forward. A new insight, a bodily response, maybe even a new perspective. My friends, to close our practice, I invite you all to place left hand on the heart and right hand on top. And as I stop the share, we can bow to one another in peace, peace, peace.